Good morning, girls. In our Servlet chapter, I explain you that you can create your servlet using any of the three different ways, right? Number one is by implementing servlet interface. Second method is by extending generic servlet class, and the third way is by extending HTTP servlet class. So let us see how you can create your servlet through these ways, right? So and the second thing that I will show you over here is we will create this program and we will run this program through Tomcat server, right? So first thing is what you have to do is you have to install a Tomcat server. As I told you that Tomcat server you can download from internet also, or even you can get it from me also. Now first thing is go to your control panel, then go to system security, administrative tools, and here you have to select services, right? If your Tomcat is properly installed, then you will find Apache Tomcat in this list, right? So click on Apache Tomcat and start this service. Here Tomcat is already started, so you can click on restart button. The status of Apache Tomcat will be shown here. Here you can see that started. If I stop it, this will show you nothing over here, right? You can start by clicking on this link. So our first step is to start Apache Tomcat. Click on start button. It is started now. You can see the status over here. Now close this window. Let me show you this path one more time. Go to control panel, then system and security, administrative tools. Here you have to select services, right? And you can find Apache Tomcat over here, and you must start your Apache server first by clicking on start button. If it is already started, then no need to start it again, right? Now close all these windows. Now our first program I am going to show you, which is already done through JCreator. Here I have not used NetBeans IDE, as I told you that you can develop your servlet through any of the editor like Notepad also, or even you can take JCreator also for developing your servlet program. So here I have I am going to show you the first method, that is through servlet interface, right? The coding is import java.io.star. See, here we are not using NetBeans IDE, so you have to type everything by yourself. You will not get single line at all automatically, right? You have to type everything yourself. Import java.io for input and output. Then the servlet package is required, so I have written import javax.servlet.star. Here the name of file is test, public class test, which implements servlet. This is our first method. Servlet config, create one object of servlet config equals to null. We have gone through the cycle of servlet. We'll cover all that methods over here. The first method is init method. As I told you that in the whole life cycle of servlet, this method executes only one time, which accept one parameter of type servlet config. Here we have passed the same parameter with name config, right? This dot config, and then it will show you servlet is initialized. Now the second method is service method, which accept two parameters of two different types. First parameter is of type servlet request, Here we have defined REQ. The second one is of type servlet response, which is defined with name RES, right? So this is our method, service method, which we have already defined in our first program, right? In NetBeans IDE, you got this method ready-made. This method can throw the IO exception and servlet exception also. Now we want to set the content type HTML because we want to send back the response of type HTML. So we'll set response.set content type text HTML. This all code you will get ready made in NetBeans IDE. That's why we prefer to do our coding through that IDE, right? Any other IDE you can use. Now create one object of printWriter class. PrintWriter out equals to res.getWriter. Now you can define a code of HTML. You can take all the HTML tags over here, but you must enclose that code in out.print method, and that too between double quotation mark, right? Through this program we just want to print hello simple servlet, nothing else. We don't want to display anything except this line. So here our coding is okay. For the sake of simplicity, I have only taken 3 lines. That too you can remove. This line you can remove, this also you can remove, right? But if you want to give an effect of bold H1 like text, then you must take this text, right? Now the next method is destroy method. Destroy method gives the chance to destroy all the objects defined for the servlet before deleting the servlet, right? Here you will get the message servlet is destroyed. Then one more method, servlet config, get servlet config, which return config. These two methods are not compulsory. Public string get servlet info. Through this line you can get the information of the servlet, right? That's it. This is the simple most program of type servlet config. Okay, this is the way you can implement the servlet interface. Here you can see this implements servlet. Okay, let us execute this program. But before you execute this program, you must define a web XML file for this program. Let me show you how to define a web XML. There you have to do all the coding by yourself, right? You just compile this file. We got process completed. This will generate a class file. Wherever you have saved your program, that will generate a class file. Here you can see test.class, right? That we have to put in classes folder, which is inside the web.inf, which is under the web.inf. As I show you the structure of the servlet, where you can put your class file, where you can put your web XML file, right? You have to follow that structure only. Okay, inside the folder, your program folder, you have to create a web.inf. Web.inf ni under you have to create classes, and inside the classes folder you have to put your servlet class file, right? Now how to define a web file? Let us open it with Notepad. Here you have to write this everything by yourself, right? If you want to define a web XML file or deployment descriptor file for your program, you have to write this coding by yourself. Again, I repeat, why we use IDE for developing our servlets. This is the reason. There we can get this code, everything ready made, right? No need to define it ourselves. See, as you know that the name of servlet is defined as first, then class name is test, here it is, the name of class is test. Okay, then mapping servlet name is first, and the URL pattern for this class is /first. Okay, so our whole structure is ready now. Web XML you have to put at the same level of classes ફોલ્ડર ની સાથે તમારે વેબ XML ફાઇલ પણ મૂકી દેવાની છે. And now got the structure. This is our main folder. I have saved this program with prg1 servlet interface. Inside it I have created web-inf, and inside the web-inf I have created one classes folder and one XML file. Inside the classes folder put your servlet class file. Here the name of servlet is test. So when you compile your program, that will generate a class file if your code is error free code, right? So we got test.classes. You just copy this file and put into the classes folder. Here paste. Okay, our structure is ready. Now one more thing. Now copy this example. You have to put this file at specific location, as I explained you in the second lecture of Servlet, right? Where we go? We'll go program files, Apache software foundation. Inside it we will get Tomcat 5.5, then web apps. Here you have to put your example. You have to paste your example over here. So we want the whole structure over here. See, here I have put servlet interface, prg1 servlet interface. Inside it we got the whole structure. Okay, now how to run this file? If it is available only in web apps, then only you will be able to run your servlet file. Now open Internet Explorer, run your Apache folder, localhost 8085, right? This is our Apache software. If you have properly installed the Apache in your system, then only you will be able to get this screen. Okay, here the port ID for Apache is 8085. As I have explained you that how you can change this port of Apache. If you want to change the port ID of Apache, you can go with that way, right? Then next what you have to do is you have to give the name of your folder over here. For that what we have to do is open computer, go to C drive, then program files, Apache, Tomcat, web apps, and this is the name of our program, right? Copy this name, go to Internet Explorer, paste the name of that folder. Okay, now what you have to do is, if index.html is not available in your program, then we need the URL pattern for this file, right? URL pattern we have defined for this class is /first. So we'll write /first over here, and press enter. Here the result is okay. So this is the way you can define your servlet through servlet interface, the first way. The second way, by extending generic servlet class, right, which is already inherited from the servlet interface. So you will get some of the method ready-made over here, generic servlet class, and some additional features of generic servlet class. Let us see. Close the Internet Explorer, close all tabs. Now uh, let us create one more program. As I told you that you can create the servlet through any editor. Here we have used the J creator for creating this program. The name of servlet is simple servlet, which extends generic servlet, the inbuilt servlet class. Here we are extending this class. Now no need to define that 4 methods. Here uh, this program will work through service method only. See, we have removed all that methods which we have defined in the first program, right? Let me open from here. Here you can see this init method is initialized, then service method, then destroy method is also compulsory, servlet config and get servlet info. This all 5 methods are compulsory. But if you are using generic servlet class to develop your servlet, then no need to define that 4 methods. Service method is more than enough. The same code I have copied over here, the same code, but now I am changing the message. Example of generic servlet class, right? Your service method has same 2 parameters, res and req respectively, the object of servlet response and servlet request. This also can throw servlet exception and IO exception in case of error. Inside it will define set content type, same text/html as we have done in the test program, the first one, today's first one, right? Then out object of print writer class, then out.println HTML body tag, then out.println I want to print this message on the screen when we execute this program, right? And out.close. I repeat, no need to define all other 4 methods. Now compile this program. Here process is completed. Then next step is to develop XML file and to define a proper structure. Okay, so let us go over here. Again we need a web INF. See, here the name of program is prg_3_generic. This is the name of our program. Inside it we will create a structure web INF, inside it classes, and our class file we will put inside it. Okay, now our servlet is here, simple servlet. I compiled it and I got simple servlet.class file. Just copy this file, or even you can cut and put this file into classes folder. Here it is, right? I have pasted this file over here. Now what about web INF? Web XML file is at the same level of classes folder. You can define your web file over here, web XML file. Let me open this file with Notepad, right? Whenever you create your web XML file, don't forget to give an extension XML at the time of saving of this file, right? Whenever you save this file, don't forget to give an extension XML. See, I wrote this code myself. Okay, let us observe this 2 tags, servlet tag and then servlet mapping tags. You can copy this code from anywhere and every time you can paste it. Here the name of our program is prg_3. The class name is simple servlet and the URL pattern for the servlet is /prg_3. So how we can run this program? Before we run this program, we must copy this whole example, copy this file, and we must copy this file and put into web apps folder. Exactly, here it is. Program 3 is copied, right, and pasted here. Now the structure is ready. We have already stored our files according to its structure. Okay, so our whole structure is ready over here. Even you can directly create your program over here also, but if you have created somewhere else, then copy that example and paste it over here. Okay, prg_3 and generic. Now how to run this program? For that we will copy the name of this program, Control C, then open your Internet Explorer. Here we will open localhost 8085. Apache will run. Okay, we have already started the Apache Tomcat server. Now paste the name prg_3_ generic and the URL pattern for our servlet is prg. Let me check out. prg_3. Yes, prg_3. Okay, and press enter. We got the result, example of generic servlet class. So this is the second way you can define your servlet, right? Even you can do this program in NetBeans. Even you can develop the same program by extending HTTP servlet class, right? So let us see the way how you can define the same example through extending this class. For that, again open your JCreator window. Here it is. Let me change the font size first. Yes, so we need these three packages: javax.servlet, javax.servlet.http, and java.io.star, right? So these are the packages required. Then create your class with name myServlet, which extends HTTP servlet. See, in previous two programs, we developed our servlet through implementing servlet interface. In the second example, we develop our servlet by extending generic servlet class, and this is the most popular way to develop any servlet, right? In NetBeans, we show first example through by extending this HTTP servlet class, right? So this is the most popular way to develop your servlet. So we are using HTTP servlet class in our current example. For that, I wrote public class myServlet extends HTTP servlet. Here no need to define any other methods of servlet interface. Here only do get method, do get or do post, depend on the type of parameters set in your HTML file. Accordingly you can take do get or do post method over here, and it is mandatory to define this method in HTTP servlet class type, right? So I wrote public void do get, then two objects are required. First is HTTP servlet request with name req is defined, and the second object is res response of type HTTP servlet response type, right? Now we will set the content type for sending back response to the client, right? So content type is text HTML type. Then we will create one object of print writer out, and equals to, we will assign response dot get writer method. Now what we want to print, we will enclose all the code in a double quotation mark, and we can print that content on a browser of client through out.println method, right? Here our content type is HTML, so I am taking the tags of HTML, out.println HTML, and body, then out.println h1 hello readers. This is the message I want to print on the browser, okay, and then out.println body slash HTML. That's it. Again, for the sake of simplicity, I have not done any lengthy coding in this servlet, right? Let us execute this one. For that, what you have to do is you have to prepare the whole structure as we have done in previous two examples, right? If you are doing through Tomcat server, then the structure is most important. The role of structure is most important, right? Accordingly, you have to define your program. You have to store your program in a proper way. Let me show you how I have created this one. The name of our folder is prg_4_http, right? Inside this folder, I have created one folder with name webinf. Again, inside the webinf, you have to create one more folder with name classes. Inside this folder, we will put our class file of our main program, which is stored in at the same level of webinf. Okay, here you can see this is our code file. We will compile this file. Let us compile. Process completed. Now you can see the class file is already here, right? જ્યારે તમે servlet file java source file ને compile કરશો, you will get a new file with extension .class. આ જે ફાઇલ છે એને તમારે કોપી કરવાની છે. Copy this file and put this file inside the classes folder. Here it is. અહીંયા આપણે આ class file ને મૂકી દેશું. Okay, go one step back. At the same level of classes folder, define your web XML, means deployment descriptor. Let us open this file. You can edit this file through any editor like Dreamweaver, Notepad++, or even with plain Notepad, right? Here the name of servlet is hello. We have defined the name of servlet hello. Which servlet we have used? My servlet, right? The name given to my servlet is hello. Go back to JCreator. Here you can see the name of class is my servlet, and we have given a pet name to this servlet, that is hello, and the URL pattern defined for this servlet is /hello. Now how to run this program? I repeat, first of all, what you have to do, just copy the name of your main folder. Okay, now open Internet Explorer, go to new tab, type localhost 8085. Here Apache Tomcat is started, right? It is already running. If it is not running, first step is go to system administrator tool and then start the Apache server. Then only you will be able to get this screen. right? Here localhost colon 8085, it is showing the Apache Tomcat screen. That means Apache Tomcat is already running. Now type the name of your folder over here and then URL pattern of your servlet and press enter. Here the output is okay, hello readers. If you are doing some changes here, like I am doing, see, okay, then save the file. What you have to do is you have to compile this file. Okay, this will generate a new class file. Now copy this file, put this file in classes folder, copy and replace. Now what we have to do is copy the whole example and go to C. Inside it we will go to program files, then Apache Tomcat, Tomcat 5.5 and web apps. Here in the here we will paste our whole program. Yes. Okay. So what we have done? We have done some changes in our servlet file. We compiled it again and then created a new class file, then copied that class file into classes folder, and now we will run this file. See here, let us reopen. Here you can see the output, right? What changes we have done in our file, then created one again compiled the file, then created one class file, then copied that file into classes folder and run your localhost 8085 one more time. If it does not reflect the changes, what you have to do is restart your Tomcat server one more time, and then it will show you the changes whatever you have done in your file. So these are the three ways you can develop your servlet, but now onwards we will prefer only the third way, that is HTTP servlet class. By extending this class we will develop all our servlets, right? And that too with the help of NetBeans IDE, not with the help of Tomcat server. We will run our program through Glassfish server. Okay, so I think this much content is more than enough for this session. Thank you.